Shohei Ohtani is unparalleled, an ace on the mound and an excellent hitter who slugged 46 home runs last season. He projects to be an MVP candidate every single season he plays. With 1 year remaining on his contract and rumors of an offseason trade, one has to wonder, what is Shohei Ohtani worth? Is there really a price for such unique contributions? What would a long-term contract look like? Let's start with WAR. In 2021, Ohtani figured things out following the shortened 2020 season. He finished 2021 with a combined B-WAR of 9.0 and was a unanimous AL MVP selection. That WAR was easily the highest in baseball. In 2022, with several games remaining, Ohtani's WAR is even better at 9.2, second only to Aaron Judge. While Ohtani has reached a WAR of at least 9 in each of the last 2 seasons, he has done it in different ways. In 2021, his 9.0 WAR was the result of a 4.9 WAR as a designated hitter and a 4.1 WAR from the mound. In contrast, his 2022 WAR derives from a 5.5 WAR as a pitcher and a 3.7 WAR as a hitter. The WAR numbers demonstrate that if Ohtani struggles in one area, he may still make up for it in another area to reach his same overall contribution to the team. The last 2 seasons prove that Ohtani is capable of producing MVP levels in a consistent way. Since 2010, only one other player has produced back-to-back seasons of a 9 or better WAR. That was Mike Trout in 2015 and 16. Trout, of course, is the highest paid position player in baseball and signed a 12-year, $426.5 million contract back in 2019. Before Mike Trout, the last player to have back-to-back seasons with a 9+ WAR was Albert Pujols in 2009 and 2010. That led to a 10-year, $254 million deal signed with the Angels in 2011, shortly before Albert turned 32. Conclusion: using WAR, Ohtani deserved to be paid as much or greater than anyone else in baseball. During each of the past several years, Fangraphs has attempted to measure the amount per WAR that was being paid to free agents. For example, in 2022, one Fangraphs estimate observed that teams were paying around $8.5 million per F-WAR to free agents projected for 2 or more WAR per season. That means that teams were paying around $8.5 million for projected F-WAR over the life of the contract, adjusted for aging and playing time projections. This season, Ohtani has a total F-WAR of 8.8 and last season posted an 8.0. Now, we're not exactly statisticians on this channel, but what if Ohtani projected to 8 wins above replacement per season for the next 7 seasons? Using the 2022 projection of 8.5 million per F-WAR, Ohtani would be in line for something like 476 million over just 7 years for 68 million per year. What if, with age, he was only projected to create 5 wins above replacement, but on a long-term deal? A 10-year deal, for example, would bring in 425 million or 42.5 million per year. The Fangraphs projected WAR is based on their Streamer preseason projections. Streamer projected that Ohtani would reach a combined F-WAR of 6.6 in 2022. If Ohtani projected similar numbers for the next 5 years, he could be valued at $56.1 million per year. With that said, does WAR even give Ohtani the recognition and value he deserves? That may be a question for another day and another video, but Ohtani's contributions are unlike anyone else, and it's difficult to measure his impact using the same measurements applied to other players. For example, Ohtani provides the Angels with an ace and a great hitter in one roster spot, essentially allowing the Angels to have an extra pitcher. Should that factor? Regardless, by any metric, Ohtani is incredibly valuable and projects to contribute as much as anyone in baseball. Another way to look at Ohtani's value is to separate his contributions into 2 separate players and then combine the value. For example, in June of this year, Spotrac estimated that Shohei Ohtani the hitter projects to an 8-year, $202 million contract. Spotrac estimated that Ohtani the pitcher projects to a 7-year, $206 million deal. They estimated that as a combined hitter and pitcher, Ohtani projects to an 8-year, $437.6 million deal for an average annual value of $54.7 million. Now, those projections do not take into account whether Ohtani will be able to do both roles over the long term. But Spotrac's projections were also done in June. Since that time, Ohtani made this season even better than last season. Ohtani will become a free agent after the 2023 season at age 29. In 2020, Gerrit Cole, also at age 29, signed a 9-year, $324 million deal with the Yankees. At age 31, Steven Strasburg signed a 7-year, $245 million deal, making for $35 million a year. A handful of elite pitchers make around $30 million plus a year, although some are on short-term deals. Ohtani outperforms nearly every pitcher in the league, but perhaps cannot pitch as many innings as the top aces given his hitting role. Shohei doesn't pitch on 4 days of rest. However, he still managed to win 14 games this season, make 26 starts, surpass 150 innings, all with an ERA under 2.5. As a pitcher, he's already a full 2 wins above replacement better than last season, according to Fangraphs. Ohtani will likely finish in the top 5 of the Cy Young voting, and he is truly one of the best pitchers in all of baseball. And he's getting even better. What is an ace like Ohtani worth? Spotrac projected Ohtani as a $29.6 million pitcher in June. It seems reasonable for Ohtani to be paid $30 million a year as a pitcher, even if he only starts around 25 games a year. He's that good. As a hitter, Spotrac placed his value at $25.2 million per year over the long term. He made 639 plate appearances last season, and he may surpass that number this year. He has 80 home runs over the past 2 seasons, and improved his batting average from .257 last year to .271 this year. Ohtani's value solely as a hitter is slightly diminished by being a designated hitter, but a designated hitter capable of hitting .270 with 40 home runs has great value, perhaps even as high as the $25.2 million estimated by Spotrac. Shohei Ohtani is unique as a two-way player, but he is also an international superstar with enormous worldwide appeal. His marketability is probably greater than any other player in Major League Baseball, evidenced by his vast array of partnerships and endorsements. Ohtani is frequently cited on most searched and most watched lists. Being a global superstar can only enhance his value to a team. Another consideration in Ohtani's value is that he can create an extra roster spot by performing 2 roles in a single spot. That allows the Angels to carry more pitchers than any other team in baseball, because Ohtani does not count toward the maximum number of pitchers permitted on a roster. At the same time, Ohtani's unique situation and the physical demands associated with his role require that the Angels use 6 starters most of the time, as the Angels do not pitch Ohtani on 4 days of rest. Any team for which Ohtani plays will be presented with new challenges to manage Ohtani's schedule and accommodate his needs. With that said, every team would love to have those challenges if it means having Showtime on their roster. It's not easy to value a truly one-of-a-kind player, especially when that player can get even better. But by any metric, Ohtani is enormously valuable and projects to get a historic contract. It doesn't seem outrageous for Ohtani to be paid $50 million per year on a long-term deal. Right now, the Angels are getting an ace and an outstanding power hitter out of one player. He's 28 years old and will be a free agent at 29. It makes sense that Ohtani would sign an unprecedented contract to mirror his unparalleled contributions on the field. What do you think Showtime is worth? What kind of contract do you think a team would give out to sign Ohtani as a free agent? Is there any player in baseball that can compare to Ohtani in value? Let us know in the comments, and make sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching Baseball Pantheon.